Maria stood at the arrival gate of JFK Airport in New York City with a worn-out suitcase in one hand and her daughter's tiny fingers wrapped around the other. Her son clung to the back of her shirt. Everything they owned fit in one bag, and everything they believed in was written in their mother's hopeful eyes. She was 32 years old, alone with two children, and had just left behind everything familiar in Honduras: her language, her home, and the memories of her parents' small house. What she carried with her was more than luggage. It was the hope of a better life, far from the threats of violence, political instability, and poverty that had become her everyday reality. Her journey hadn't been easy. Before landing in the US, Maria spent weeks planning a quiet escape. A borrowed passport, a friend's savings, a whispered goodbye. No promises, just prayers. As they stepped into the cold air outside the airport terminal, the noise of car horns, foreign accents, and flashing lights overwhelmed her. New York City looked nothing like the brochures. It was fast, chaotic, and indifferent. She pulled out a crumpled paper from her bag. A cousin's address in the Bronx, scribbled in black ink. That was all she had. No phone, no map, just a hope that someone would answer the door and remember the promise they made 2 years ago. "If you ever make it here, you can stay with me." The cousin did answer. Barely. It was a tiny apartment, one bedroom, 5 people already living there. Maria and her kids slept on the floor beside the kitchen, huddled together under one blanket. She didn't complain. Within a week, Maria was cleaning dishes at a 24-hour restaurant in Queens. She worked the graveyard shift from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. $6 an hour, cash under the table. No breaks, no questions, no rights. She would return home just as the sun began to rise, make breakfast for her kids, then sleep for 2 hours, if at all. Her daughter Sophia often had to walk Juan to his elementary school. At just 8 years old, Sophia was learning how to be a big sister in a new country, in a new language. Maria didn't speak English. Her vocabulary included only the basics: yes, no, sorry, and okay. But she understood tone, looks, and silence. She knew when she wasn't welcome. She knew how to keep her head down. Every time someone knocked at the door, her heart jumped. Was it immigration? A neighbor? A mistake? Every sound became a reason to be afraid. They lived in the shadows, unseen and unprotected. Winter came, and with it, the bitter cold. Maria didn't have a proper coat. Her kids wore donated jackets from a local church. She taped the soles of her shoes with black electrical tape to keep out the snow. She cried in silence most nights, not out of weakness, but out of exhaustion. She missed her parents, the smell of fresh tortillas, the sound of Spanish echoing in the neighborhood. But mostly, she missed feeling safe. One evening, while helping Sophia with homework, her neighbor Carla knocked. Carla was from El Salvador and had been in the US for nearly 10 years. She had papers, a job at a laundromat, and spoke decent English. Carla saw the fatigue in Maria's eyes and gently offered help. "There's a center a few blocks away," she said. "They help women. Free English classes, sometimes even legal help." Maria hesitated. What if it was a trap? But something about Carla's voice felt familiar, like home. The next week, she attended her first ESL, English as a Second Language, class. She sat in the back, afraid to speak, but she listened, carefully. Slowly, she began to form sentences. She learned words like appointment, rent, and application. The community center became her safe space. She met other mothers like her, some from Guatemala, some from Haiti, others from Mexico. All with stories, all with scars. They shared tips, food, and sometimes just quiet company. As months passed, Maria's English improved, her confidence grew. She started helping out at a local food bank on weekends, not because she had time, but because giving made her feel strong again. Her kids were adjusting too. Juan, though quiet, was a quick learner. He was placed in an advanced reading group. Sophia made friends and even joined a school play. Maria watched with pride, tears filling her eyes as Sophia delivered her one line on stage, "I believe in magic." Then came a breakthrough. One of the volunteers at the center introduced Maria to a pro bono immigration lawyer. He offered to help her apply for a special visa available to victims of certain crimes, a category Maria might qualify for based on her background. The process was long and uncertain, but hope had returned. She started studying for the GED at night. Her shifts were still hard, but now she walked taller. She spoke up when someone disrespected her. She taught Sophia and Juan how to ask questions, how to speak proudly. A year later, Maria passed her GED. The bakery she worked at offered her a full-time job with benefits. For the first time, she had a paycheck stub with her name on it. It wasn't just money, it was proof. I exist, I belong. She rented a tiny one-bedroom apartment. It had heating, a lock she trusted, and a fridge with her kids' drawings taped to it. She no longer cried from fear, but from gratitude. Today, Maria runs a weekly support group for immigrant mothers in Brooklyn. She teaches them simple English phrases, how to enroll kids in school, how to recognize scams, and how to breathe, even when everything feels impossible. When she tells her story, she doesn't hide the dark parts. She speaks honestly about fear, hunger, and loneliness. But she also talks about friendship, kindness, and strength. She always ends her talk with the same words. If you are here, you are brave. If you've survived this long, you can survive more. And if I did it, so can you. Her story is one of many. There are thousands of Marias in America, women who leave everything to build something from nothing. Some make it, some don't, but all of them matter. Behind every smile in this country, there might be a Maria. Behind every tired worker, every scared mother, every child learning a new language, there might be a story of courage. Maria's journey isn't over, but today she no longer walks in fear, she walks in purpose. And every step forward, she takes not just for herself, but for everyone who comes after her.